Hello, welcome back to the Try for More YouTube channel. My name is Elise, and I am just somebody who is super stoked to bring you more triathlon goodness. I am a nutrition coach, I am a triathlon coach, I'm also a swim coach, and I am a dog mom. And we are doing everything here one take, start to finish. So if the dogs are a little crazy in the background, well, it stays in. And right now I am looking at one of my dogs, and he is on like our ottoman with his back legs hanging off, and like his body is like laying over it, chewing on his dog. I have no idea why he put himself in this position, but he did. So this is where we are. The other one is watching out the window on her patrol duty, apparently. So yes, so we are today diving into all good things strength training when it comes to triathlon. And the last, I would say 8, because I do believe this is episode 9, but really it's been about 6 of those 8 episodes have been focused on people taking on their very first triathlon. And starting today, we are going to start getting into information that is going to apply to everybody. While it is applicable still to taking on your very first triathlon, this is where things are going to start to shift, and this is going to be information that is going to go out whether you're doing your very first one, your third one, your 5th one. All of a sudden you did one last year, now your summer this year is jam-packed with them because you just couldn't stay away. So this is starting to get into that transitional time, and today we are talking strength training, because this is something to where in the triathlon community, I personally don't believe there is enough emphasis put on this, and this is something that is so crucial for being able to feel your absolute best. I'm not saying you can't do it without strength training, but I'm saying to feel your absolute best and to be able to perform your absolute best. If you are leaving out strength training, you are missing a gold mine of performance potential, to be completely honest. So today we're going to talk about why it's important. We are going to talk about what a strength training session should look like and where to start. So disclaimer here, looking at Ben, he's like readjusted himself on the ottoman now. I think he's okay, but he's looking at me like, save me, mom. And I'm like, you put yourself there. For all my other dog parents out there, you understand that the dogs do weird things and they get themselves in these predicaments. So reel it back in, train of thought. When we are talking, disclaimer, that's what I was going for, disclaimer. So I am not a strength training coach. I am not a personal trainer when it comes to strength training. So this is information that I'm sharing with you all that I have personally experienced, and information that has also been shared with me as well, from others that have done the research, that see the benefits of it, other personal trainers that are out there. And then I already said my own personal journey. I've been heavily impacted in a positive way with adding in strength training into my regimen. So this is something I just want people to be completely aware of, that it has a huge potential to benefit you. So diving in, first and foremost, why is this important? Why do we want to strength train? Look, I get it. Some of us just love our cardio. Some of us love that swim, bike, run, and we just want to swim, bike, run to our complete heart's content. But the thing is that strength training is injury prevention. So when we go in and we do a strength training session, we are able to target specific muscle groups and then also hit all the muscle groups as a whole to make sure that we are continuing to strengthen our body. So when we are doing a strength training session, we've got two types of ways we can do this. We can either do it body weight or we can do it with weights. You pick your choice, whatever one makes you happier, whichever one you're going to be more consistent with is the one that you should put into your plan, into your week. And so when we go through these, we are strengthening our muscles, which support our skeletal system or our bones. So therefore, we are providing more support to our bones by strengthening these muscles. And then we're also strengthening our bones if we are having lifting sessions where we are lifting heavy. So depending on the time of year where you are right now, we're in the summer, in season, maybe you're not lifting extremely heavy, you're not looking to lift extremely heavy because you're really wanting to put the emphasis on pushing the swim, bike, run, and that's okay. But if you are going in to lift heavy, Something that's really cool that actually happens is when we go and we do it, we are actually creating micro tears in our muscles, and we are creating micro fractures in our bones. And I know that sounds really scary at first, but listen, hear me out, follow me. These micro tears and micro fractures, as they come back together, they actually strengthen our muscles and our bones. So this means the stronger our bones and our muscles are, the better we feel overall, which is why I say, if you're not strength training, you are missing a world of opportunity. So if you are someone who, whenever you go out for a swim or a run or a bike and you feel pain, like say you have hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, always talk to a doctor. Don't dismiss it. All right. Take care of yourself. Talk to a medical professional, but also take a look at strength training and what can you add in so that you can start to strengthen the muscles around that area. So if it's a hip, how can you strengthen your glutes, your lower back, your upper legs, like your thighs, your hamstrings? How can you strengthen all those things so that that hip becomes more supported, your hip flexors? So all of that stuff is more supported. If your knee is starting to bother you, how do you strengthen your your lower back, your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, your hip flexors? I don't know if I said that already for this one. And then your calves as well. So how can you support around that? And notice when I'm saying hips and I'm saying knees, I'm using these two common ones because they're very easy to visualize. And so when I say hips and knees, I'm not just targeting muscles or joints or ligaments right in that area. I'm talking about the things surrounding those areas. Because a lot of times when we feel pain, it is actually caused by something not in that direct area. So if I have knee pain, I potentially have a weak spot that is up higher. So whether that's my lower back, my glutes, it could be sitting up higher. It could also, knee pain could also be related to my feet. It could be lower. So just because we're feeling it in that specific area doesn't mean it's that specific location where we're feeling pain. So adding in strength training helps reduce the amount of potential injury. I'm not going to say it eliminates it. There's no guarantee there, but it helps reduce what could happen. And it can also provide a lot of pain relief. And this, I said at the beginning of this, I personally have been really impacted by this. And for me, it was my knees and my hips. Another good reason for me to use it because I can definitely relate to those two things. So I used to run and I would want to go run all the miles. I would want to push myself, but man, I would make it to mile 3 and I'm like, why does everything hurt? Why am I in so much pain? Like, this should not hurt like this. So I took a step back, started strength training, and oh my goodness, wow, did the world of possibilities open up because I just felt better. And the better you feel, the better you're gonna have in your training sessions. The more likely you're gonna want to go out and do those swim, bike, run training sessions because we all know there are days where we don't want to. So that is why our strength training is important. So what should a strength training session look like? I've kind of already hinted at, lifting a little heavier. If you can do it, if you can push yourself, lift a little heavier, that is phenomenal because you are just going to be able to support your body that much more. But in season right now, I understand there might be some hesitancy, like go out, lift a little heavier. Ooh, I don't know how much I want to push myself. You should just be challenging yourself every single time you lift. So you should be getting to the point where with however many reps you're doing, you are feeling a little tired. You are feeling a little muscle burn. You want to be pushing yourself. If you're just doing so we talked about body weight. So we could also throw a band in there. Say you're doing something with a band, like a really light resistance band, and you're doing upwards of 20 repetitions of this. So 20 of the same movement. And you're not feeling anything, it's not to say it's not doing something for you. It's just to say you are going to probably benefit a little bit more if maybe you increase the band resistance a little bit. And all of a sudden you're starting to feel that burn at, say, maybe 12. And then you push yourself to 15 and you do that a few times through. So you should be challenging yourself still when you go in for these resistance training sessions. If you can get in right now, I'm going to keep in mind that it is the summer right now. So if you can get in right now and you can do 1 to 2 days a week of strength training, that is phenomenal. Pick an upper body day, pick a lower body day, or do 2 full body days. Or what I'm doing right now is a full body day and then 1 day specifically to target like my glutes and my hamstrings and my hip flexors, because my hip flexors are my personal weak point still. On the bike, my hip flexors always start to hurt first. So, taking the time to really target to strengthen the areas around that is really important. I might have to yell at my dogs. One of them just went to chase the other one down the hallway. She likes to pick fights. She's old and grouchy. Nautilus, leave your brother alone. He went to go to the bed and she just chased him down. She's a little rude. All right, sorry about that. So, so when you're going in and you're doing these sessions, it's not like you need to go and be like, oh, all of a sudden I have to add in 5 days of strength training. No, getting in and starting to incorporate 1 or 2 days now is better than nothing. And it gets you started and it starts to get you used to adding this in. So maybe when we get to the end of summer, we get out of triathlon season, you're able to pick up a few more days of strength training and a little bit more. So you're a little bit more excited to get that into your routine. And that also gives you a little bit of a break in the winter from your swim, bike, run, so you don't get burnt out on it. So when you go in, it doesn't have to be an incredibly long session to be effective. I started with doing sessions that were 30 minutes long. I used an app. It was a phenomenal app, the Fit Body app, and it was more geared towards females and doing resistance training. And there were things for gym workouts. There were at-home workouts. And the at-home workouts were absolutely, I was toast. And they were pretty much all body weight, and it was 30 minutes. So it's you don't have to take this huge chunk of time and be like, oh man, you're asking me to do another 2-hour commitment. No. Get it, do some movement, challenge yourself a little bit, and find an app that works for you that has a program that you can follow. But the biggest thing is you just want to stay consistent in that. So, if you're not sure, if you're ooh, the thought of searching for an app is a little overwhelming, talk to friends. Do you have friends that are doing some strength training? Can you get some feedback from them? And also, don't underestimate what push-ups, sit-ups, and squats can do, or push-ups, sit-ups, and lunges can do for you. And all of that can be done at home. So 100 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, 300 squats. If you're not to that point yet, if this is your first time ever doing any resistance training, you're probably not going to want to go in at those numbers. So scale it back, take it down, and you can get a really good burn. Anytime I do that workout, the push-ups, sit-ups, squats, 100, 200, 300, I feel the burn. I definitely feel it. It's a great workout because when I'm there, I am there to get it done, to make it happen. So I'm focused on that workout. 30 minutes, we're in and out. It's a great time. All right. So where on earth do you start? If you've never lifted before, where do you start? And I did mention an app. I did mention friends. If you have never done any kind of resistance training before, I would really recommend going to your local gym and getting a trainer. And this is just so you can start to understand your own body a little bit more and how you should move. And if something hurts, you can ask questions. If you do a movement a certain way, even if it's a lunge, even if it's a body weight squat, you do a movement a certain way and it hurts, you have somebody there to give you feedback, to make adjustments, to let you know what to adjust in that movement. And then if you're wanting to do lift weights, you have somebody there to teach you how to lift. And this is so important because I said weightlifting is injury prevention. If you do it wrong, you're gonna hurt yourself. So get yourself some support so that you understand how these moves should work. And get a trainer for 6 weeks. It doesn't have to be a long-term commitment. Let them know, look, I'm just looking to learn how to use the weights. Or maybe you don't say it and you just go in and then at 6 weeks you cancel. I don't know. That's on you. I personally would be very forthcoming with the person, be like, hey, I just want to learn. I want 6 weeks of your time. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be here. Teach me what you can teach me. This is what I'm training for. And hopefully they will be very receptive and excited to train you for that period of time. So it doesn't have to be a long-term commitment. And then when you're doing your strength training to benefit, to gain these benefits and feel the most impact out of it, getting yourself consistent is key. Just like swim, bike, run, the more consistent you can be in showing up and executing your workouts, the more consistent you are with your strength training, the more you're going to benefit from it. So, don't go and do one strength training day and then all of a sudden you go out for your next like run or bike, or if you're a swimmer, or if you're going out for a swim and you're having some issues somewhere, and expect everything to be healed. Because it doesn't happen like that. You can't just do one session and everything's fixed. You've got to stay consistent. Or if you're wanting to add the strength training to increase like speed, it's a great thing to do to increase speed, like CrossFit. I know a lot of people that like CrossFit. If you're gonna do one CrossFit workout and be like, oh, I figured this was gonna be a great way to resistance train, and then you expect to come back and all of a sudden be faster, it doesn't work like that. You've got to stay consistent, come up with a plan, come up with your days, schedule it in just like you would your other sessions so that you can reap those benefits of the strength training session. And then if you're looking at your days and you're like, man, I just don't know where to start. I cannot say enough about the apps that are out there. There are a lot of phenomenal personal trainers that are putting fantastic information out there because they just want people to feel their best. They want people to know how to do these moves and to be able to support their bodies for their goals. I will go ahead and link the app that I personally use. It's the First Form app. So I'll go ahead and drop that in the description notes as well, because there's so many things that you can pick from. And in there are like workout programs, a ton of workout programs that you can pick from. And so when you do that, some of those days might be 5 or 6 days. And I would really encourage you to either pick 2 full body days or an upper body, lower body day, so that you can start to get in a consistent habit of executing and getting these workouts in. And I kind of already hinted at it already as well. When we get out of season, having a good base for strength training is such a good way to mix it up. Because in the winter, it gets very hard for us to stay consistent. And if you're like, it was super jazzed at the end of the season, you're ready to go, but then you get into the winter and the winter blues hit and you're like, oh, I don't feel like swim, bike, run. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do that. This just doesn't sound good. Having the knowledge or a program that you can lean into for strength training is a great way to still get your body moving and to know that you are still progressing yourself to whatever races you might have on the lineup for next year. Because building in some diversity is a way that we keep ourselves engaged in the sport and we keep ourselves wanting more. Just having that diversity in there is such a good mental break. So if you have any questions, any comments, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you learned anything from this. I'd love to get your feedback. Hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, we're going to start transitioning into topics that are going to be beneficial for everyone, not just beginners anymore. So if you are tuning in specifically to hear about the beginner stuff, thank you so much for joining me. I hope and I plan that the content that I'm going to continue to put out is going to be beneficial for you as well, so that you can keep building good habits now as you are getting into this sport and you're like, ooh, I want to take on more, so that you are able to continue to find the enjoyment in it. I oftentimes say, find your joy. And for me, that is what triathlon is. And so I am excited to continue to bring you information with a little bit of a change of where you are in your own journey, because this sport, it can really give you so much if you are willing to just let it teach you the things that it has to teach you. That's like the best way I can describe it. And I know that sounds a little silly, maybe a little spiritual, but truly there is so much that this sport has to offer and it can teach you if you're willing to listen. All right. So if you learned something here today, if you enjoyed this, I would love for you to give this a share. I'd also love for you to subscribe. And there's a new episode every Friday that we drop, so you don't want to miss those. So hit that subscribe button so you are the first to know. And let your friends know where we're hanging out and where they can get some awesome triathlon information if this has been helpful to you. All right, get out there today, go show up, have a phenomenal weekend of training and or racing. If you're racing this weekend, have a phenomenal weekend of racing, and let's just keep trying for more.